Daily Caller has a Florida sheriff issued an arrest warrant for a pastor who refused to cancel services. It's a Tampa megachurch, and they would not close its doors despite a safer at home order in effect in Hillsborough County. Pastor Rodney Howard Brown's Sunday service. So he turned himself in yesterday after Sheriff Chad Cronister and State Attorney Andrew Warren announced an arrest warrant had been issued for charges of unlawful assembly. First off, that's BS. Unlawful assembly is BS. I don't care. Stop. Look, folks, I get it. Everyone wants to be safe. But if you think also that we can go ahead and suspend constitutional rights, even if you are voluntarily staying home yourself and you think that what they're doing is stupid, you got to draw the line somewhere. You got to, guys. It's not a comfortable conversation to have, but sitting here telling someone that that's unlawful assembly is bull. That's bull. And violating the public health emergency rules on isolation and quarantine. He posted $500 bond. He was released 40 minutes later. They had, it's the River at Tampa Bay Church. And they had tried to speak to him on 2 separate occasions about the gathering and about what that was doing in terms of infection rates. Apparently, the command staff went to East Tampa Church. They were told by church leaders and legal staff that Howard Brown would not see them, and he refused to cancel the services. So the sheriff went out and said his reckless disregard for human life put hundreds of people in his congregation at risk, and thousands of residents who may interact with them this week. This is according to Fox 5. They said that, you have technology, you can stream services over the internet. And the sheriff stressed that the warrant was not an attack on religious freedom and noted that there are other Tampa Bay churches that are following the social distancing guidelines set by the CDC. He said he's now concerned whether or not this may have spread following the services. And he said, I was appalled and also frightened that these individuals were thinking that they were doing the right thing. And he actually said this. This is what the state attorney said. I don't know this pastor. I don't know him. I'm going to be honest. I think it's kind of stupid. I mean, you can't, I get it. That we still have our church services. I still watch church and I make sure I tithe. And I think my pastor is pretty logical, even though he doesn't like my Twitter feed sometimes. But, and he's correct. I think he doesn't seem like somebody that I would listen to. I don't know the man, so I'm just, an immediate, reaction. However, this quote here, this is the quote that got me. It's from it's the state attorney who said, quote, I think it's unfortunate that the pastor here is hiding behind the First Amendment.
What? How do you hide behind rights?
Yeah. One, it's absolutely clear that emergency orders like this are constitutional and valid. Secondly, leaders from our faith-based community across the country have embraced this importance of social distancing. Okay, I don't give a damn what other people have embraced. Really don't care. The idea that you can hide behind the First Amendment is kind of ridiculous. That's just a weird statement. That's a weird statement to me.
But it was there for legal purposes. That's what the First Amendment
Now, there's
is there
certain
for.
things that can happen during a time of crisis and a pandemic. I may know a lot about gun law, but, it's what I understand. I know that there's certain things that you can do, but to sit here and say that someone's hiding behind the First Amendment, and they said the church did not comply, they said that when they were discussing this, his attorney said, we complied with the administrative order regarding 6-foot distancing, and it went above and beyond. And Liberty Counsel, who maintains the church, had hand sanitizer and all of this stuff. And they said it's discriminatory and it's being unconstitutionally applied to the church. So all I know is that there's a pastor who's been, and I don't care if it's a pastor. I don't care if it's at somebody at a synagogue. I don't care if it's at a temple. I don't care where it is. If it's I don't care, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, I don't care. It sounds to me like what the pastor was doing and what the church was doing. They were incorporating all of the CDC guidelines about the distancing, and they had another entity there monitoring that for them. And they said that they enforced the rule and they sanitized the facility the sheriff is pretty hardcore. Obviously, they're going to fight this in court. I don't like the phrase unlawful assembly. I don't like that the state attorney used it. I don't like that it was discussed by the sheriff. I don't like it at all. I don't like that phrase. You're going to try this out in court, and they're going to get their asses kicked, is what's going to happen. And I'm not talking about, excuse the Portuguese, in this ironic, somewhat conversation. But if the state attorney thinks that they're going to fight this in court, good luck with having a political career. You are going to get mauled optically. You will be mauled. And this case is going to be held up as a standard of an attack on First Amendment. Regardless of anything else, that's what's going to come out of it. All the other variables will be forgotten. Now, I will say, and I was noting this, and it was covered in a couple of other places, the 2019 Florida state statutes, they do have the power in a public health advisory to do a number of different things. And the abilities that they have are applicable to this particular situation involving this church and this pastor. But I'm telling you something, you're going to drag a pastor into a court and charge him with quote unquote unlawful assembly? Whew. Man, rhetorically and politically speaking, you better have your pallbearers picked out.